everybody, they probably think you're completely odd, as you would be, I guess. But there is, I suppose, in public for all of us, a certain reserve, reticence. We don't ever want to show anything of ourselves apart from our travel face or whatever, poker face, etc. But to
Yeah.
see human beings and be part of it unload a mass of joyful emotion,
Yeah.
you can't describe it. It was
Yeah.
for me. I mean, I've supported Palace for years, and for everybody, I think, if even those who were at Palace in the 1800s, 1868, or when it was formed, this was the best day ever for that football club,
It
and
was.
it was incredible because last night Palace won again. We beat Wolves last night 4-2, so that was a good. And we got one last game on Sunday. I'm going up to Liverpool, so that's the
Yeah.
and just diversion a bit. I was reading this morning that Liverpool are the only team that having been confirmed as winning the Premier League
Yeah.
have then not won another game, which so far they haven't.
They
I mean,
haven't actually. Yeah.
no, they may beat Palace on Sunday. One other point I wanted to say about Dean Henderson, which I thought was a shame because Pep Guardiola, we talk about him sometimes, probably acknowledged by most as one of the best, if not the best, football managers internationally and so on, and a credit to the game. He produces great teams with great players. But
Yeah.
I was a bit disappointed in him, having always been a big fan of his afterwards, because as he came onto the pitch when the whistle went and the players, of course, were all in great joy. And Henderson had said, actually, in the press and on Facebook and thing that day, that at the beginning of this season, his dad died. I don't know why, but he wasn't well or
Oh
whatever.
yeah. Yeah.
But he said he felt he was with him in the final and he wanted to make the final good for his dad and all that. And
Yeah.
obviously winning, you could see him sort of looking up at the end of the game, and his performance was just brilliant. And of course, all the players were very tearful. I mean, as they were, you could see them; they were breaking down in tears on the pitch. I didn't specifically see Dean do that. Anyway, they were shaking each other's hands with the other players and the managers. But Pep Guardiola thought it was a good time to come up, seek out Henderson on the pitch, and start berating him.
I saw
Um,
that.
and
Yeah.
I thought, what a shame, because what was he trying to do? Burst the bubble of joy, those moments that come very
Yeah.
rarely in life, where really everything comes together. You've anything negative in your life, it's not there. This beautiful distraction, and in a way, he put a pin in that balloon for Henderson, especially as he was so focused on his dad. And Henderson said, I mean, I don't know what else he said. It was to do with the handball, I think, and possibly a bit of time wasting, which I didn't actually see very much of, but most teams do a bit of time wasting. And
Yeah.
Dean held out his hand. He said, "Well, you got 10 minutes extra time," and he just carried on moaning at him. And for
Yeah.
me, for someone as I've always admired Guardiola, and I still do, he's a great manager, but
Yeah.
I just think he completely let himself down. And something inside me hopes he has apologised to Dean Henderson, because if he hasn't, then I think an awful lot of people won't hold him in the same esteem that we have before. But that's a bit of a negative on an otherwise incredible day, and scenes of great emotion. And even since then, I mean, all the brilliant. I think I put one on our WhatsApp, didn't I? That one of the song
Yeah.
playing to all these great scenes, and it sort of brings it all back. And you suddenly find you're sort of getting a bit emotional again about this incredible day, because Palace have never won a big trophy at all, one of the main ones, and
No.
sometimes you think they never will. And
No.
sometimes you think they never will. And there's other clubs who never have. But
Yeah.
we were, I guess, the underdogs. Newcastle were the underdogs to Liverpool in the final of the Carabao Cup, and they won. I don't know who's the underdog tonight as far as Man United and Liverpool and Spurs are concerned, I mean, I
Well,
think with the bookies, I think Spurs are the underdogs. But anyway, just to go back to your question, Saturday was a brilliant day and
it was.
one that will live in the memory for life.
Yeah. And did you see the England manager there? Well, I watched it on
Thomas,
telly. Yeah, he was there.
yeah, no, I
Uh,
didn't see him. No,
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 no, yeah, yeah. No, I just have a comment relating to that. That's why I brought that up. But anyway, he was there,
yeah,
and what I'm thinking now is he's gonna have really tough decision to make with regards to the number one England goalkeeper, because having
yeah,
watched what Dean Henderson did there. Now he's got a big choice on his hands with Pickford, isn't it? Because Dean Henderson, he really, really, really performed. He made some brilliant saves. So the whole defense, he didn't disappoint. He held up his end of the game, didn't he? Now, if you was Thomas, would you be substituting Pickford for Henderson? What would you be doing?
yeah. It's a very good question, and obviously, I, I would be, I would have a certain bias. I would have to admit to,
Yeah,
but
obviously, yeah.
but let me say that Henderson plays like that pretty much every week. I don't ever remember him making a shocking mistake. I mean, goalkeepers do, but
Yeah,
some of his saves are phenomenal. You wouldn't believe could be saved. In saying that, I actually think the standard of Premier League goalkeepers is phenomenal
yeah,
because it seems so much harder today and in the last few years in the Premier League or any of the leagues in the past
yeah,
to score a goal. Defenders manage to come in at last second blocks, but the goalkeepers they stick out an arm or a leg, and they have a strong arm if it hits hard and they still save it. I think it's incredible to see some saves that these goalkeepers make. So the standard is very high, and Henderson is certainly one of the highest, if not the highest. I mean, our crowd always sing out now, and have done for quite a long time, England's number one. Now, yeah, Pickford is clearly a very good goalkeeper. I think he has been for a long time.
mm.
If I can try and be unprejudiced
Yeah,
and
unbiased.
neutral, I
Yeah,